Punisher, The Last Kill, 10 out of 10 would watch again. My only complaint though is that damn, it was only 45 minutes. I wish that bad boy was longer. It was so good. I mean, from very beginning to the end, I'm not gonna lie, when the PTSD things were going off, I thought they were real for a second until I saw our boy Curtis starting to talk shit to Frank. When I saw that, I said, Curtis is the one dude that was down for Frank and still is to this day. The fact that he was talking shit at his lowest point, I was like, yeah, nah, like he's definitely bugging out. Then when Karen showed up too, I said, oh shit, yeah, he's definitely tripping for real. I love the fact that that motherfucker who killed that homeless man's, or the homeless veteran's dog at the beginning, which I didn't even realize he killed the dude's dog. I didn't even know that. I thought he had just taken it and that's why I was crying. I didn't even peep that he chucked it in front of the truck. But Christ, I'm so happy his ass got what he deserved to the very end of the show. And then on top of that, I would have beat that paraplegic bitch up. I don't give a goddamn. I think that's the right word to use, right? I don't know, crippled, disabled, Down syndrome, whatever she had. She got up out of that goddamn wheelchair and had the audacity to walk towards Frank Castle and said, you didn't kill me, and then spit in his face. I would have said, okay, bitch, let me fix that shit right now. But see, the thing is, like that big bald nigga behind her that looked like a buff Steve Harvey on steroids, he probably would have shot Frank. Frank didn't have a gun at that time because he had, taken the key to his wife and daughter's grave and shit. But man, what a episode. I mean, what a special. They call it a special. You are my special. On some real shit though, it was amazing. I loved it. Of course, the action scene, best action hands down in the MCU. Hot take, this might be a hot take, but for me personally, that 45 minutes satisfied me more than the whole season of Daredevil. Like, Daredevil's really good, but man, I just love the Punisher. I love the Punisher so much more. Like, he gets to the point. Love the philosophy, love just the fighting, the scenes and everything. Like, man, that was amazing to see. Another thing, of course, he's always got a soft spot for kids, right? Especially anybody that reminds him of his daughter, like that girl in the cafe reminded him of his daughter. And when he went up in there, that pin kill too, Jesus Christ. Kind of reminds me of that saying with John Wick. I saw him kill 3 men in a bar with a pencil. I mean, shit. My man's Frank Castle decided to use a pen and fucking stabbed him in every single muscle. I was watching that shit like, God damn. Stabbed him in the arm, the leg, the neck, the fucking eyes, the chin. That was a brutal ass kill. This is what I love to see, man. Absolute cinema. Now, since that family, I forgot the drug family name, the people that were running those streets or whatever, since they introduced that, I'm assuming now that right there is like a little indication of what's to come. Maybe we'll get a season 3 of The Punisher, or maybe we'll get one final movie. They didn't mention anything directly about Spider-Man and stuff like that, but it's good to know that when the Punisher does show up in the Spider-Man, he's not going to be soft as shit. It is going to be, of course, cut down, right? Maybe that's the only time he shows up in the Spider-Man movie, right? Because you see Spider-Man shoot a web at him to stop him from cussing and then tell him to go home. He says he doesn't want Frank's help, and that's probably why, because you can't have little kids watching the Punisher, man. But man, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I think on top of that, him defending the older gentleman, the one that was running that club, paying it forward, right? At the very beginning, remember, he gave Frank the free coffee. He said, it's on me. Sorry for the disturbance earlier when them crazy crackheads were starting to come up in there. And, the dumbass goon philosophy. I guess it's just a typical movie trope that'll never go away. You see this man, that's the Punisher. You know that he's known for taking out rooms of people. You see that he's armed with an AK-47, and you just saw 4 of your friends in front of you get their brains blown out. And even when he was out of ammo, he was still able to kill them with the gun itself by bashing their head in. You think, you know what? It's a good idea for me to charge at this guy full speed with a hammer. Oh man, look at that. This guy has a gun and he's already aiming at me. I'm just gonna run at him. Even though I have a gun in my right hand, I have a pistol. I'm just gonna run straight at him and not even aim at him until I get up in his face. But by then I'm dead because there's a bullet in mine. Holy shit, just stupid as hell. I love that little scene too. It was like kind of comical, but still serious, but kind of comical. He shot that dude and then someone threw him off the fucking roof, and then one guy tossed the other guy off the roof at the scaffolding that Frank was on. He was like, oh my God. He fell in between the buses and shit. But man, you saw that one moment when Frank had to choose between going after Ma. Well, I forgot her name. I forgot the gang name, like Ma something. I would keep on wanting to say Gal, but I know that that's in Daredevil, Madame Gal. But that crime syndicate family girl, she got put in the car by the old, like the buff nigga Steve Harvey, and then they drove off. And he chose, of course, to go save the little girl in the cafe shop. And I did love the fact that he went back to the cemetery, put the flower on the cemetery, and then said, "I think you were with me today, right? I think you're with me." And I love it. I love how they depicted PTSD and how they depicted the effects that the shit like that can have on you, man. Because shit like that's no joke. People think that that's just like some quirky thing that like comes every once in a while. It actually showed you exactly what a lot of veterans and people who have gone through crazy things like that go through on a day-to-day basis. And matter of fact, fun fact for those who didn't know, John, I don't even want to butcher his last name. I was gonna say Betranol, Benzindal, I don't know, but his name, John, the dude who actually plays the actor for the Punisher, actually wrote this story. Like, Marvel gave him control over writing this. You see at the very beginning that he's the actual executive producer and director for this shit. Like, he's the creator of this. So, I saw a tweet or some shit that said, "Man, this seems like it was written by the Punisher." And Marvel responded and said, "Because it was." So that's amazing. And man, oh man, did he do a good job. Holy shit. I love it. So, we know that Curtis is alive, right? Obviously, we know that Karen, of course, she's still alive and everything. And yeah, I guess now we have a hint or an indication that Frank is, I guess the big part of this, like the big thing they wanted to make sure that everybody knew was that now Frank has just shifted his attention over from being the person who was just killing people for his family to just killing bad guys in general, right? The end message is that Frank is here to stay, right? He's not going to blow his own brains out. He's here to stay forever, or for as long as he can. And now he's going to be focused on stopping evil people from doing evil things to good people. So now his attention is just shifted. And then obviously, like I said, if they want to pursue the whole last woman in the crime family thing, they probably will in a new season and stuff like that. But surely, knowing the way that the Punisher's written, it's happened in all the seasons pretty much, he's going to end up retiring or something, putting the guns down like he did at the very beginning of this special, and then he's going to get dragged back into an innocent person's life because he has a soft spot for their child or some shit like that, and he's going to end up having to protect someone again. So that's probably the story they're going to go with for the next season, or maybe they'll pick up where they ended at the end of this special or something like that, or whatever happens at the end of Spider-Man. If there's more than one showing of the Punisher, I'd be really happy if there was more than one showing of the Punisher in the Spider-Man movie, but I don't think so. I think that what we saw in the trailer might be the only thing. And maybe there might be a teaser at the end or something, but I'm not so sure. And then I don't know if he's gonna be in Doomsday. I don't know if they've ever announced that, right? But amazing, 10 out of 10. We'll watch again. I might watch it again for a second time tonight since it's so short. Amazing. A lot of things you can miss too, a lot of hints and Easter eggs and shit. I can't keep up with all that stuff. I watch other videos for that, but man, definitely y'all watch that 110% before you watch the Spider-Man movie. I forgot the new movie that's coming out, but before you watch that one, and watch that, especially if you watch Punisher 1 seasons 1 and 2, you will not be disappointed. I think, look, hot take again, I think that this special presentation was better than anything that we saw in season 1 and season 2. Those 45 minutes felt like a movie. Message.